which industry consumes maximum amount of human resource and yet never delivers the results? Information technology was the instant answer. But I thought, why to get something I've already entered? Thus I decided to look into my life and come up with an answer. It was insanely inexperienced mind of me that I decided that there is something I have been doing since last 8.5 years. This industry in itself is so complicated that no one even realizes that they are working within it. In fact, Ankush, our good friend here, Dr. Vidyasagar, and Sonali too are working in this industry. The compensation in this industry is quite varied. One day you'll have a smile, and another day you'll cry. This industry is exactly everyone knows about it. You have heard this name. It's a 5-letter word called sleep. In the latest Division E and L humorous contest, I was sitting next to a senior Toastmaster, and I kept sleeping quite often because most of the speakers who were using humorous speech was quite laggards. They either used a predictable humor, or they would come up with a lousy internet humor, or finally, if they were married, nothing else grim about the marriage. But the senior Toastmaster, when he saw me and I was sleeping, he whispered in my eyes, "Stay awake, buddy. Be considerate to others." It reminded me of my promise towards Toastmasters that I had to help people improve and become a better person, more confident individuals. And I decided that I will help our club member Aniket Singh to win the contest on Sunday. Together, we planned that we go to LA 1924 and rehearse the speech. Me being me, I reached there sharp 7 o'clock, Pakistan Standard Time. And the meeting, as you know, was in India. Not to mention that, yes, I missed his speech and I had to be contented with the rest of the entertainment. But yet again, I was not awake to help. After the meeting, I was driving back home. A usual backroad traffic. Joking, and you feel as if you are a pedestrian. I was driving at the top speed of 15 kilometers per hour, shuffling just between first and second gears and moving forward inch by inch. I reached a street called Bazaar Street near Aguguri. The road became extremely narrow. There was hardly any space for a man to stand between the two opposite direction traffic. And then, suddenly, I was enjoying my music when I heard. I decided. I saw was standing on the left-hand side, and he was raising his hand and pointing towards me. Ah! I looked at him. After hearing the song, I instantly stopped and checked. There were people gathering at the back of my car. I stepped down and checked what is happening on the back end of my car, and I saw a man who was there. His nose was bleeding profusely. I was scared. I was scared to death. I've never hit a man before. I instantly picked that man, put him in my car, and take him to the hospital. At the hospital, the first aid was given within 2 minutes. But after that 2 minutes, a senior doctor comes to me and says, "Take him to a bigger hospital. We can't entertain him." My mind was running with the worst of imagination. I saw myself being sentenced for irresponsible driving. I saw my parents crying. And I saw each of you who look up to me as a person cursing as a risk taker. I carried him on my back, put him in the car again, and I screeched past the traffic to reach St. John's Hospital. But this time, while I was in the car, I hold him with the collar and I was shouting at him, stay away, man, stay away! As soon as I reached the hospital, he was taken care of. I took his phone, called his wife, and told her to reach hospital as soon as possible. After a few minutes, another senior doctor comes to me and says, nothing has happened to him, and nothing will happen to him as well. The patient is under very heavy influence of alcohol. He lost his consciousness, and thus he collapsed in your car. But meanwhile, his wife has arrived. While exchanging words, she told me that the name of the person is Charles and her name is Florence. I told Florence, nothing has happened. And I tried to explain, but none of it would shout with tears. Tears still dropping by her cheeks. As I went up to her and humbly said, it's okay now. Florence. She looked up and said, so, ever since I've got married to this man, he has been drinking. Every time I try to stop him, he says, life is a game. Play it hard. If it were not for you, he would have been dead. Those words of Florence, although it did hit my ear, it sent a strike through my spine because I realized how irresponsible I was during the last 26 years. I went to Nepal without informing my parents during college days. I went for a night trekking camp alone at a Gokarna without telling anyone. And I came from Chennai to Bangalore at an average speed of 150 kilometers per hour just to prove that I am the fastest driver. Why? Because I was not considerate. Friends, how many of you would have done something of which you are absolutely proud of? But think again, was there an element in which you could have hurt your near and dear ones? If yes, then let me tell you, you don't have that right. Yes. You all have the right to live the way you want. But in that pleasure that you derive by living, you should not hurt others. I spent 26 years just to realize how irresponsible I was. And then this guy called Charles met with an accident and helped me realize that don't wait. Don't wait for Charles or Florence to come into your life, because life will not give you a chance to make it count for, and let the people who are precious ones to you will suffer from it. You have come alone in this life, but you live with people who care about you, who respect you, and who want to spend their life with you. Every moment, every second, they just want you to be the part of their life. Live with them and stay